Well, folks, we just don't know how this will all end up with all the anti-Semitic, anti-everybody except themselves protests going on at the Ivy League schools right now. Columbia being the foremost because there's tons of visibility there. And this won't end well, I promise. It's just not going to end well, whether it's nature, whether it's God, whether it's feds, whatever it will be. This will not bode well for these students and the professors involved in this anti-Semitism. This just won't end well. I imagine in the future, these students, they may end up, some may be coddled and buffered by society because they have a lot of money and their parents are super rich. Others, I suspect, will probably end up on fentanyl, living under a bridge somewhere, or probably passing away on a bench somewhere in a few years because of they've just made really unfortunate decisions. And one is to not support genocide. I'm just saying, like, hey, that might not be your best bet in life as far as decisions you make. You know, if you go for an interview to get a job at Dollar General, you're making good decisions. You know, you're making decent life decisions if you're going to interview for any job. You're making good life decisions if you're going to go get a trade or you're going to go learn how to do air conditioning repair. You're doing good things with your life regardless. These are not those decisions. These are horrid, horrible, horrible decisions with a maelstrom of miserable, spoiled, narcissistic brats. I don't know. I'm just trying to be subtle. Was that subtle enough? Anyway, so yeah, just as you saw there in the that fun video, celebrating the demise and erasure of an entire ethnicity, Jews. That's a sad state of affairs. It's horrible. I condemn it, but you have free speech. But when you start violating everybody's rights and you stop people from going to class, you start being violent towards other people, Jewish people on campus, anybody who doesn't go with your narrative, and you prevent them from exercising their basic rights. Well, yeah, then you're going straight to the pokey, man. And I don't know, according to their lifestyles, they may like the pokey. They may like what happens in there. So just in, Columbia University has announced classes will be remote for the rest of the year as anti-Israel protests rock the school. There are now growing calls for tuition refunds for the $70,000 a year college now that it has practically turned into an online school. Oh, the hallowed halls of academia have fallen, haven't they? It's vital that teaching and learning continue during this time. We recognize conditions vary across our campuses and thus are issuing the following guidelines. The school said, while making the announcement, this just keeps getting better. So Oil of London posted that, but let's look at some of the commentary real quick. So ridiculous. What they should do is crack down on the protests and have consequences who choose to use their grounds to create chaos. There is no assumed right to protest on university property, especially when directly aimed at other students. Now, you may ask, yeah, exactly. And you may ask, why is this happening? Where is some of this coming from? I don't think it's organic. I don't. I believe there is a bit of that being organic, but I believe that some of it is also artificially created, funded by NGOs, funded by Democrats, and also, as I have here, prepared. Believe it or not, I'm actually prepared. This is weird. This is a weird moment. And you can't see it all because my head's in the way, but I'm just going to just look at the top. These are donors to the American colleges. The amount reported by Qatar, just Qatar, these are the Middle Eastern countries, but the Qatar one, you can see that row. Amount reported, $1,982,000,000. Okay, that's just in, I think, 1 year. I think I'm right on that. I think so. And the amount unreported is almost 3 billion. The total is almost 500 billion just by Qatar themselves. Well, geez, who's in Qatar? Hamas. The headquarters of Hamas are in Qatar. And so I believe this is funding going towards American colleges right here. Saudi Arabia is next, 905 million, but not at all close to the 500 billion from Qatar, funded by Hamas. Well, we're so grateful, Hamas. You're so sweet. And they're causing these problems. They're encouraging this. And believe me, there is no pushback because Democrats, we want this. They want chaos. They want absolute anarchy so that they can usher in their glorified, deified, totalitarian rule sponsored by the WEF. Colin Rugg says, no, I love this. The college system created this, so they should have to deal with it. Well, there is something to that. The leftists created your own house. You created this glass house, and now you're all throwing stones at each other inside of it. Yeah, so it's collapsing, and it's going to collapse like the Titanic, which it already is. So, and this is funny. They're asking for genocide, but they're also wearing masks right now. And I believe the masks, the only purpose those serve is to cover their faces, so they're harder to identify. That's the only thing. This has nothing to do with being safe. And remember, these are your highly touted, regulated safe spaces. Remember, these are your highly touted safe spaces from that were so touted in the early 2000s, and especially in the 2010, 2012 period when cultural Marxism really took a hold, sponsored by Obama. This is the safe space. Okay, remember, Jews are not allowed. They're offensive. They will be attacked with hostility and volatility and violently. Yeah, this is the safe space that they so touted. The safe space was just a cloak for I am protected, but I can go ahead and beat everybody else up. That's what a safe space is. So, yeah, why are they wearing masks? These clowns are still living in 2020 because masking is a performative ritual for them, just like their activism. And I don't understand it, but I think that there is a certain, because these people live vacuous, purposeless lives, they of spoiled children, that the activism is a way to push the boundaries and get, I believe they get a type of euphoria out of it. And this is the closest thing they can have to a spiritual experience, because they flushed spirituality out of their culture a long time ago. The culture activists, they made sure to flush this out. So they're looking for that. They're looking for some type of euphoric feeling or spirituality or purposefulness. So they go into activism and they act out. But what it completely backfires because it's executed wrongly. It's executed in the wrong way, for sure. And it's misdirected. Sure, performative ritual that folks are willing to be arrested for and be expelled for. What a foolish comment. Also, I live in New York City. It's common to wear masks because there are many airborne pathogens beside COVID. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, somebody says, your hyperbole gives it all away. You cling to your activism over truth. That's what leads to democide. Bravo, take a bow. Yeah, that person. Yeah, thank you, Jay Short, you troll. Defund every university that is harboring Hamas, which that's a very good way to frame it, because I believe they are harboring terrorists now. These are the kids that will do this because they've been allowed to by the DOJ, etc., to do these things. Now, if this was a MAGA thing, if this was anything close to MAGA, these people would be jailed for life. I guarantee, on the first day, and they would be beat down violently. But it's a two-tier justice system, so you don't see that. You see the colleges getting rid of them. You see people who are billionaire investors, especially ones who are Jewish, pulling out of their universities. And I'm like, why didn't you do this before? Were you guys this stupid and unaware? And the left is breaking in pieces now. You can't have LGBTQ in the same breath that you have support Hamas and that you also are anti-Semitic. It's just not working. So meanwhile, taxpayers are being forced to pay off the student loans of these absolute retards. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what they are. I know actual retarded people who are smarter than these people. They're more well-behaved. Seriously. They're more self-aware than these people. That's why it's a cult. It's a virus, because it overtakes their mind like a parasite, and they aren't who they once were, perhaps at one time, but they're not decent. These are not decent people. Parents must be livid that they're now paying $70K a year for an online school. What a total waste. It's not like their kids were getting a good education to begin with at Columbia, but at least they were going to the campus. Yeah, these kids, I suspect there's a lot of weed and binge drinking and promiscuity, very little education actually going on. I mean, see, like the culture versus the education part, that there are kids who are getting their education, and then there's a whole slew of them, especially the ones that everything's paid for. They're probably just blowing their education. And these are probably the ones that are out there. These are not the ones who go, well, I have to help pay for school, so as soon as classes are done, I'm going to go to my job. I got to go over to my job and work so I can pay for books or whatever, When you thought you hit a dog, but it was just a pro-Palestine protester, that's funny. I'm not advocating that, but it is kind of just funny in a just like a jokey sense. I hope they do get a refund, and if parents don't, I hope massive lawsuits happen. Defund these indoctrination camps. Defund, yeah. Congratulations on buying an overpriced Columbia University degree. It was always overpriced. It's just that the fact is comically obvious since they've now made it into an online school because they can't control the campus tantrums. Isn't that funny? At this point, too, I'm like, well, hell, man, you might as well just go to the University of Phoenix. Just do it all online, man. Just go to a cheap school. If you're going to sit on ass at home, and I promise this probably won't work out for a majority of students. Like, I think school is one of those things that it takes a special person to really do it online and really do a great job. I think a lot of people need that curative instruction in person, and that's just my opinion on that. But so I don't know. This is going to be bad, and the repercussions are going to be for years. This will be for years that this will happen. Let's see. Okay, so Mindy says, Israel really is killing the shit out of the Palestinians. The left supports Ukraine in the same dumbass manner the right supports Israel. For the love of everything holy, I wish people could figure out when they're being played. It's literally all the same satanic globalists. Well, it is. That is true. And am I, okay, you might ask, am I a supporter of foreign policy with Israel? Now, the foreign policy with Israel of shoveling American citizens, taxpayers' money over there, not really. And I am vehemently against Hamas. They're a terrorist group. And I actually think Palestine, I don't really believe that they ever really want to have an established country or free or state that they say, because it's more beneficial to them financially to remain in a state of limbo and get financial aid and all this stuff from the United Nations and places like the EU. It's more financially beneficial because they just take that money and turn pipes into rockets and build more tunnels. It's more beneficial to play the victimhood grift than it is to actually have peace. And Hamas knows this. Those people in charge of Hamas, they've got blood on their hands for sure. Not only for what they've perpetrated on Israelis, but what's been perpetrated, they've perpetrated on Palestinians as well. Okay, now, so we can play the blame game all day long. My opinion basically is, as far as foreign policy and shoveling our money over there, I don't believe we should be involved in any of it right now. I just want out of it. I really think we need to focus on our own country right now. We need help. We need help. So Ivy League schools created this mess with their liberal ideologies. They need to make some dramatic changes or they will suffer greatly. Yeah, the left eats its own children always. The left will be its own demise in the end. They'll cause a lot of collateral damage to everybody else, as usual, just like Democrats, the left, but they will be the cause of their own demise. They created this mess. Let's see. Huh. Oh, that's so funny. Here it is. Yeah, if you haven't seen this, this is a good one. And some of you have probably seen this. Before and after, cocaine, alcohol, oof, that's sad. Crack, college. Oh, that's the worst one of all. You got this, whatever they're called. Are they called Wiggly Puffs or something? I heard some term for wokies like this, girls that look like this. Wiggly Puffs or blue whales or skittle hairs or demons, whatever. It was funny. Anyway, so yeah, you get the point. This is what college does. And I warned my son, I said, we need to have a serious talk. I said, listen, I don't want to be preachy, but I'm just going to tell you a few things. Beware the communist stuff. It's everywhere in college. Question everything your professors tell you, every single thing, and question every thing that it says in your textbook. Just because it has an appearance of authority does not mean it's true. So I gave him that little piece of advice for whatever it was worth. I think it's worth a lot more now, just because, whew, that's what happens in college, man. Turn into freaks. They go in the meat grinder, normal. They come out ground up hamburger. These elite universities like Columbia resemble China's Cultural Revolution. Yeah, they prioritize their ideological revolution over education, believing it serves the well-being of the people. In the end, it becomes clear that this is merely an illusion. Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is the Red Guard, the famed Red Guard that humiliated people, killed people, beat people in humiliation rituals, often called struggle sessions, during the Cultural Revolution. They were useful idiots in service of Mao Zedong, and they went out there. They were college students. They were hired at the colleges, and they were recruited to do at the behest of the government, to go after other students and adults and go after their family members, and then demonstrate like a humiliation ritual in front of people. If you've seen the 3-Body Problem, the first part, that's a struggle session. Same thing, humiliation ritual struggle session. The Red Guard of China, the infamous Red Guard that's known for its human rights abuses, they were all students from Chinese universities that did that. So just think they're recruiting right now. And since the left can't reproduce, they recruit, right? So anyway, I will talk to you later. Anyway, let me know what you think. And I think it's an interesting turn of events. It's just, I don't know, some things are very predictable. And this is one of them. Like this is just bound. It's not sustainable in any way. Anyway, so more on the doomsday cult in the days to come. I'm sure the death cult, the doomsday cult, whatever you want to call it, communism, it's all the same. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Please put a like on the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And please comment below. And it would help with the algorithm. And I so appreciate your time. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.